You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
And now coming in, we got the constitutional lawyer from California. We got John Yoo. And, John, there's so many things going on. Where do you want to start?
Wherever you guys want to start. You're the New Yorkers. I know you want to talk about 10 different things at once.
Yeah, well, let's start with, how about with Jim Jordan? Did you see this, John Yoo, that Jim Jordan has now done a subpoena, which is really interesting. He's, of course, with the House Oversight Committee, the congressman, and he is trying to get the records from the firm that is the daughter of Judge Marchand. Now, Judge Marchand's a New York judge, of course, who has the sentencing with Trump next month. And the daughter, the firm made millions upon millions of dollars on work, campaign work, PR work for Biden and Kamala Harris. And again, he hasn't recused himself. What do you think they'll get? And how bad do you think this looks also for the judge?
I think this makes the whole conflict of interest problem for him even worse. I could see a case plausibly where he might have said, look, I'm sitting on this case, and this was back when Joe Biden was the putative nominee, but it's not going to affect the election because my daughter generally consults for Democrats. Apparently she also consults for Harris. But now Harris is the nominee, and Harris directly benefits from the way this trial is going to come out. She's going to politically directly benefit from the way the sentencing comes out. I don't see how this judge has not recused himself. It's not that he has to say he made the wrong decision initially on recusal, but now the facts changed on him. And now Harris, who his daughter works for, is really directly affected by his sentencing decision. Yeah,
there's no doubt. Governor Patterson.
What is actually the argument that you could make, just to play, not devil's advocate, but what I'm saying is, if he's trying to defend this, what does he say to explain? Because the situation's gotten closer to him than it was before, and it's really going to look very bad.
I agree, Governor. I think it's a hard argument to make now than it was before. I think the best argument he could make maybe is, look, this does not involve my daughter. I mean, it's just really hard because she's a family member. And, even if it was the same firm he used to work for, judges would be very careful. But this is a family member who's directly working. So maybe he says, look, Donald Trump's sentencing is about him in his private capacity, and this doesn't affect the election, I don't think. And I can't be responsible for all the political consequences that flow from the sentencing. Otherwise, I'd have to be recusing myself all the time. But there's plenty of other trial judges in New York City who could take the case over, too.
Exactly. That's why I honestly think that he will recuse himself.
Wow. Do you have inside information or what?
I don't see that. I see him saying, Trump, I'm staying and you're going to the big house.
John, my information is not inside. It comes from above.
Oh. You have a direct line.
The fifth floor?
Connection.
How does this in God?
I'm glad it's not coming from below.
Yeah. John, how do you say it? In God we trust?
In Gov we trust.
Yes.
In Gov we trust.
Ed Cox, any ideas?
I think it's more likely that Marchand puts the whole thing off till after the election. That's an easy way for him to get out of this.
That's an even better suggestion. I think that's right.
Absolutely.
I agree, except he hasn't tried to get out of it. In fact, this is the thing that's really surprised me about this. He's had so many off-ramps to say, okay, I understand this is a political case, so we'll push the case off to later so that doesn't affect the election. But instead, he's almost rushed to and embraced the political nature of the case by speeding it up when he didn't have to, by deciding that Trump didn't have immunity, even while he knew the Supreme Court was about to decide. And now by going ahead with sentencing when you still haven't figured out what kind of immunity the President Trump gets here or not. I mean, he should have delayed the sentencing till after the election. Not just because of the election, because it's really hard to figure out whether Trump can even be tried for these crimes. I think he ought to order a retrial, in fact, because the original trial has been tainted now.
Absolutely. Well, John, thank you.
Any other cases, John, that you want to talk about?
Oh, there's so many. The Supreme Court just said that the Biden student loan program, again, is blocked. That's one. You've got Jack Smith's second indictment of President Trump in Washington, D.C. for
how
January
many reverses? You see, the American people don't realize how many reverses did Jack Smith have?
Well, the question to ask is, when has he ever won anything?
So I understand he had about 5, 6, 7 reverses.
At least he's actually basically lost every time he showed up in court.
Yeah, it's like 90%, I think, right? I've seen a couple places, John Yoo.
And this indictment shows he hasn't got the message. This is the other thing. He hasn't got the message yet. When you lose that badly in the Supreme Court, and then the federal judge in Florida says your own existence is unconstitutional, maybe you ought to pause and think about whether you're going down the right path. But I don't think
he cares. I think he's no longer a lawyer. I think right now he's a Democratic operative. That's my personal feeling.
I like to think this.
Did we lose him?
Put the best motive on it is that he's just a out of control bureaucrat. This is actually what happens when prosecutors don't have any guidance from above. Garland and Biden let him loose, and now they're not exercising any control over it. They should be telling him, slow down. You are actually ruining things. You're destroying institutions from the inside in your quest to get President Trump.
Well done, John.
Well done. Thank you so much, John Yoo. Have a great Labor Day weekend. And
you guys, too.